So we were talking about gimmicks, and I recall at this point I was kind of getting a bit burnt out with wrestling. I wasn't really like, it wasn't doing the spark for me. Like the last couple of months I've been doing it, it was something was just wrong. It was off. I wasn't enjoying it. And I told Kingy at the thing, who was running the company at the time, I said to him at the party, I said, it's time. I think it's time for a change, like something different. And in my mind, I'd kind of come up with this character a while ago.
The road to WrestleMania is just around the corner. My name is Dion McCracken, and as always, I'm joined here by Brad Lewis. We're looking forward to talking all things Royal Rumble today. We're looking forward to part 2 of our interview with James Shaw. Stick around for that. Brad, though, I understand you are in the deepest, darkest pits of Entei. Is it the boiler room and is mankind around there?
Yeah, as you can see, I am in one of the depths of Entane in the basement at in a nice little comfy studio. But we've got the equipment working, which is the most important thing. So yeah, a busy day today at work, but really happy to take a break out from the day to day and talk a little bit of pro wrestling, because I thought WWE produced one of its best shows in 12 months.
Yeah.
On Sunday NZT.
Yeah, Saturday night's main event was a banger. Before we get to it though, yesterday you were hosting a UFC watch party. Great day for you, not a great day for Paddy the Baddy.
No, that was a lot of fun. We're at Full Time Bar in Kingsland, and we'll be there again this coming Sunday for UFC 325, which will take place in Sydney. A couple of Kiwis on the card, Alex Volkanovski in the main event. But yeah, was hosting it with the great Janae Harding, who fights out of City Kickboxing Gym, which is where Israel Adesanya and Dan Hooker and the like train. Great place to watch the fights. Plenty of screens, plenty of beers, plenty of great food. Fun to be had. But yeah, Paddy the Baddy Pimblett, who, for all you pro wrestling fans out there, is probably the closest thing WWE has now to a pro wrestling character. I thought it was a tremendous fight with Justin Gaethje. He just came up a little bit short, but I think that that time is on Paddy Pimblett's side, and I certainly believe there could be a UFC title in his future.
Yeah. Hey, before we crack into it, if you're listening to us on YouTube Music, if you're listening to us on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or watching on YouTube, do us a solid, hit that like, hit that subscribe. It really helps us out. But let's crack into it, Brad, because the top story is the Royal Rumble preview. You know, I don't like having Vince McMahon in my head, but I have all week, Brad. All week I've heard this line. It's time to rumble. It's time for the Royal Rumble.
You know what, Dion? You cannot beat the 1989, 1990, 91 and 92 Royal Rumble intros, which had Vince at the front of them. Although I think in the 92 Rumble now on the old network, which is now Netflix, they've got Mean Gene voicing over the front of it. But those intros were so good, man. And he'd go through you, Hulk Hogan, Bad News Brown. Like, you know, it was just, it was such a great part of my youth. The Royal Rumble is my favorite WWE event every year. It's just the anticipation of not knowing who's next. And it's certainly changed from a viewing perspective in New Zealand since we started getting pro wrestling live. And I do believe, Dion, that the 2005 edition of the WWE Royal Rumble was the first ever live Royal Rumble that we ever got in New Zealand. So, yeah, I love a Royal Rumble.
Yeah,
Dion.
that'd be about right. 1989 Royal Rumble was the first pay-per-view I watched on some bootlegged VHS that a buddy got somehow
I probably
from America.
watched the same VHS that you did.
It's probably the same one.
Around.
Probably the same one. Yeah, that was a great Rumble too, right? Royal Rumble 89, Axe and Smash opening up of Demolition. And back then you're thinking, what are the odds of this happening? This is crazy. But there was a tremendous moment in the Royal Rumble anthology. When it comes to Royal Rumble moments, I think everyone's got some favorites. Let's bounce a couple off each other. What's one or two of yours?
'89 Rumble, Hogan and Savage, when Hogan actually throughout that entire Rumble is a heel. Now you go and watch that. He's an absolute heel. He's eye raking. He's throwing out baby faces. He eliminates his best mate. He then skullduggery after getting thrown out, refuses to leave, and then eliminates the big boss man. And even Jesse's just like Gorilla, how can you condone this? This is ridiculous. And he's like,
So true.
And Gorilla's the commentary, and that's actually great because Gorilla's talking about how Hogan's been in the ring for half an hour, and he was in the ring for about 5 minutes, which I found interesting. But the Hogan Savage showdown, which was the true beginning of the Mega Powers exploding. I know there were little seeds planted at SummerSlam and Survivor Series, but for me, this was the point towards, oh my God, they're going to do Hogan and Savage at Mania, aren't they? And that for me was a Royal Rumble moment. I think a year later when it was Warrior and Hogan, when they'd eliminated everybody in the ring and they were the only two left.
Yeah.
Which was really cool. I mean, there's been a ton. There's been some great surprises as well in the past. Too many to think of. The John Cena return at Madison Square Garden was pretty epic. I think HBK's one to the end was great, even though that was probably the worst Royal Rumble match of all time in 1995.
Yeah.
And who can forget the WWE audience taking over the 2014 Rumble that Batista won because their boy Daniel Bryan, for some horrific reason, was not booked in the event. And then a year later, the WWE decided to put Daniel Bryan in the event, and the whole crowd wanted him to win, not Roman Reigns. And then they proceeded to have him eliminated early doors after about 7 minutes in the ring. And then for the entirety of the rest of the Rumble, the crowd was booing.
Yeah.
So a couple of moments of skullduggery there from creative. But those are a few moments for me. Certainly 89, 90, 91, 92 are my favorite Rumbles of all time.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, absolutely. But even in the Attitude Era sort of period, there were some great moments as well. Just on the cusp of the Attitude Era, I suppose. Stone Cold Steve Austin, remember him getting eliminated and then just hanging low and waiting till Bret Hart was the last man in the ring because the referees did not see Austin get eliminated yet. 1997, and sure enough, he sneaks back in, sends Bret over the top rope and wins his first Royal Rumble match. That was tremendous. 2001, Kane going on a tear, man. Kane going on a tear. I think it was 10, 11, 12 or so that he eliminated, which I think held the record for quite some time. Was it Brock that beat that record?
I think it was Braun Strowman, but that was in the 40-man Rumble. And then, I do believe Brock when he was number one. Yeah, absolutely. Also, 94, and we call it the Big Daddy Cool Diesel spot, where Diesel came in at number 7, cleared everyone out of the ring, and then proceeded to eliminate numbers 8 through 14 or something like that as they came into the ring. He was that was the first spot of someone dominating, and they've used that spot, Dion, to sort of elevate performers in the past, like Kane, which is what he did in 2001. Braun Breaker a couple of years ago threw out a whole bunch of people. Brock's done it before as well. So, and even Stone Cold did that in the 97 Rumble where he was just eliminating people as they came in.
Yeah. And you alluded to Cena's surprise return at Madison Square Garden. What about Edge in 2020? What about Edge? What a moment. That will live in folklore forever, I think, in the professional wrestling circles.
And I'm sure he's going to be a big part of this show, but AJ Styles' debut in 2016 as well, coming in at number 3, even though the cameraman was focused on Roman Reigns' face when Phenomenal came up on the Titantron. But hey,
yeah, well, funnily enough, didn't the camera or the director, we should say, miss Edge's spear on Randy Orton on Edge's big return? But we can't be perfect all the time, right?
No.
Yeah, so a lot of people are saying that this next week in WWE TV really has to deliver in terms of setting up the Royal Rumble. I'm not too sure. The Royal Rumble sets itself up. We've already got damn near half a field in the men's and women's matches. We've got 2 matches on the undercard. I think 4 matches may be all we get. There may be 1 or 2 more. But as of today, there are 4 matches on the card. Let's get to them. First, let's talk about AJ Styles and Gunther. AJ Styles loses. He retires. Now, we all know that this is AJ Styles' last year in WWE, but I think the fact that he may be exiting in January has taken quite a few people off guard. I'm not sure how you think about this, Brad, but I'm really on the fence for this one. So it would make no sense from a kayfabe perspective for Gunther to not win this match. He's on a tear. He's got to continue going. Him losing to AJ Styles, it would be mind-boggling to me, as would AJ Styles losing and exiting. I can't imagine they're going to have a what would be a highly unpopular no contest finish. That probably is a possibility for them to get out of this jam. I'd expect more from AJ Styles, especially with the TNA AMC deal. That being said, AJ Styles and Shinsuke Nakamura, they got a generous amount of time on Saturday night's main event. That may have been that one final dream match that we got to see, and that was a fantastic match, a real,
5
real
stars.
good match. So for me, it still blows my mind, but I'm going to go Gunther to take the win and AJ Styles to retire at the Royal Rumble. Your thoughts?
I mean, taking kayfabe out of everything, and if you read the dirt sheets and the legitimate journalists like a Sean Ross Sapp, Mike Johnson as well, AJ Styles' contract's up the day after the Royal Rumble, right? So his contract is up, by all accounts, has not signed an extension. And there was something that dropped in the last 24 hours, which is a now deleted Instagram post that Shinsuke Nakamura put up middle of last year when he said he revealed a conversation that he had with AJ Styles where AJ said, I'm probably going to retire at the Royal Rumble in 2026. I think all signs are pointing towards an AJ retirement. Michael Cole heavily promoting the fact that AJ has often said 2026 will be his last year in the ring. This is his final contract. They are not selling the fact that AJ Styles' contract is up basically at midnight at the conclusion of the Royal Rumble, which I find interesting because they could certainly play that into the storyline. He seems like a dude that's pretty true to himself. I can't see them calling it, like if this was a loser leaves WWE match, I could see it and then him having a year in TNA. Like I could see that, Dion, but it's a retirement match. And I can't see, and I just can't see, considering how close TNA and WWE are tied together these days, I can't see them going with the retirement angle and then him showing up on AMC in a couple of weeks' time, right? Or at the next big pay-per-view. So I think AJ's done.
Yeah.
And for all the AEW sickos out there that are starting to dream book Will Ospreay and Hangman Page and John Moxley matches, AJ said this is my last contract. And he seems like the sort of guy that we're never going to hear from again until his Hall of Fame induction. Because I think he's a family man. He's going to go and spend time with his wife and his kids. And I think that by design, I don't think this has been a big build-up aside from the last couple of weeks because I think that's AJ's decision. And I think his last match, weirdly enough, will be in Saudi Arabia and Riyadh. And like you said, you cannot book Gunther to lose this match in any way. You take the piss out of your audience if you have this end with AJ winning by DQ or something like that. You just can't have Gunther lose, Dion. It completely defeats the purpose of the John Cena final match. So, they've kind of booked themselves into a corner.
Do you know what's just popped into my head? I don't think this will happen, though anything is possible. It's long been rumored that Gunther and Brock Lesnar were going to lock up at WrestleMania, right? I mean, is it possible that Brock comes in and has the match thrown out and just beats the crap out of Gunther? I don't know what his motivation would be to do that. That could be an out for them, but like you say, maybe there is no out. Maybe this is it. Watching that match against Shinsuke Nakamura on Saturday night's main event, though, I thought to myself, I would have loved to have seen this match on the big stage of WrestleMania and would have been quite happy for this to have been a pre-advertised AJ Styles final match. That doesn't look like it's going to happen. So let's see what happens next weekend.
I just felt, given the emotion on Saturday night's main event, AJ gave it the fist pump. There was so much respect between the two. He really played up to the crowd. I kind of feel that's his last match in North America. Like, I don't know, Dion. I just unless I don't know if he's going to be on Raw on Tuesday, NZT. But I'm pretty numb to all this, to be honest. Like, it's just happened very, very quickly, and I think that's been by design, and it's been lost in the shuffle of the John Cena retirement tour.
Yeah, and not everyone's going to have this 1 year red carpet rolled out retirement tour like John Cena, right? You could argue
Cena's one of one.
Absolutely, though AJ Styles, you could argue is not far behind in terms of career longevity and what he's given to the business, and deserves that sort of send off as well as he does. But the Cena retirement tour hasn't set a precedent for retirements moving forward. It will for some people. This looks like it for AJ Styles. Let's see what happens next weekend. Let's talk about the WWE Championship match, which I'm assuming may kick the show off. That seems to be the done thing. Now, if this is the only World Championship match, although maybe we'll see a women's title match get booked through the course of this week. Drew McIntyre defending the championship against Sami Zayn. Look, Drew's going to take this one out, surely, right? I can see a lot of false finishes where it's going to look like
Yes.
Sami's going to come close and he's going to fight from the bottom. He's going to hit that haluva kick and get a long 1-2. I just don't think there's the groundswell of support for a Sami Zayn pushing him towards the championship like we had for a Daniel Bryan, as you mentioned earlier, like we had for a Kofi Kingston come WrestleMania 35. I think if they'd done it a few years ago, when Sami was just out of the bloodline, when he had that match with Roman Reigns at the Elimination Chamber, that was a great event, by the way, because there was that feeling that, shoot, maybe Sami could be the one to dethrone Roman here. We just don't have that groundswell of support for Sami. I don't think it would be a terribly popular win. I'm not sure what that will mean for Sami, whether he goes on to WrestleMania from there to challenge for the championship. I don't know. Either way, I think Drew's going to take this one out and head into WrestleMania as WWE champion. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I've seen some theories online that this will open the card, Sami will lose, and then he'll come back in the Royal Rumble and win the Rumble and get his moment at Mania. And I think people are reading into the comments from Wade Barrett and Michael Cole, where they've talked about how Drew McIntyre is 7-0 against Sami Zayn on television and in PLEs. So, but yeah, like I just can't. Drew is the most legit for me champion in pro wrestling right now. Like across AEW, like I know, look, MJF is a great champ in AEW. Stephanie Vaquer, great champ. But across the board, I think Drew is the guy right now, and I don't think taking the title off him is the right thing to do right now. So I definitely don't see Sami winning this match. A little bit of me could see them potentially if they're going with Sami and Drew at Mania, but that makes no sense given what we saw with Drew, Jacob Fatu, and Cody Rhodes.
Yeah, that's right.
The Saturday Night's main event, unless that's going to be the Elimination Chamber main event within a triple threat match potentially, and then the Chambers decides who meets the champ or whatever. But isn't that kind of cool, though, that we sort of don't know where we're heading and that I can plant that seed in your head that maybe Sami Zayn could return and win the Rumble? I don't think it's going to happen, Dion. It's definitely a conspiracy theory out there from some Sami Zayn fans. But yeah, I think Drew wins this and the Sami underdog tale continues, and he might just be the guy that never wins the big one.
Yeah, I think he will be.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
It's okay.
There's nothing wrong with that. Just quickly, you mentioned a women's title match. I think we might be heading maybe to Steph versus Raquel.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Potentially, there's no women's match aside from the Rumble on the card. Jordan Grace has been his graphic was shown in the Rumble, so she's going to be in that. So I can't see a Jade Cargill Grace match. So maybe we get Steph and Raquel.
Yeah, maybe so. And on this match with Sami Zayn and Drew McIntyre, of course, as well documented, Cody Rhodes and Jacob Fatu having their issues with Drew. Maybe those two somehow get involved in this match. The match gets thrown out. Sami gets disgruntled with the two of them, and we get a fatal four-way match either at Elimination Chamber or at WrestleMania. Not a huge fan of the WWE Championship being contested in multi-man matches, the triple threat sort of thing, even as a bridge too far for me. But maybe that's where we're going. Sami gets a WrestleMania main event. You'd have to think a Sami Zayn, Drew McIntyre WrestleMania main event for the WWE Championship. All due respect to Sami Zayn, incredible worker. That wouldn't be one of the all-time can't miss main events. Again, maybe a few years it could have been. Should we get on to the Royal Rumble?
Yeah.
All right, let's start with the women. So let's do this, Brad. Let's look at our number 1 and 2. Who's going to come in? We'll go with the Diesel spot. Who's going to eliminate the most competitors? The Iron Man or Iron Woman. Who's going to be there the longest? The final 4 and how we see that playing out. Maybe for bonus points, we can throw out some who we think could be some surprise entrants. I haven't really thought too much about that, but maybe we'll do that. Should we go shot for shot, or do you want to run down the women's Rumble match?
Go shot for shot. What I'm going to find interesting is the Iron Woman's going to have to do 55, 60 minutes in a full-fledged outfit because no skin is allowed. So good luck to whoever gets booked with the Iron Woman spot.
By the way, how good are those Saudis with the construction? 1 month ago, there's an empty field. They say to Triple H, don't worry, bro. We got this,
bro. Yeah.
25,000. If this was New Zealand, we'd still be putting the road cones out.
Correct.
Let alone having this anyway, let's move on. The Women's Royal Rumble match. Let's start with you, Brad. Number 1, number 2. Who you got?
All right, so had a bit of a think about this, and I'm gonna settle on Julia as number one, and Io Sky as number two.
Mm, nice. I like that.
Yes,
Yeah, I like that. Those two would
yeah,
have a great couple of minutes together too.
correct.
Whether it's 90
Yeah,
seconds or 120 seconds or whenever the certain spots are finished and now we press the buzzer.
I was also thinking Lyra and Bailey, but I'm
Mm,
going with Io and Julia.
okay.
Julia one, Io two.
All right. I've gone with Charlotte Flair number one. I think we're possibly not too far away from Charlotte, maybe going back into a singles push. So Charlotte number one, Julia number two. So there you go.
Interesting.
Mm,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah. All right.
It's an
So
interesting spot, isn't it? Because there's so much potential for building storylines or testing the waters in some sort of matchup that might be down the line. So I'd be happy with either of those. I'd be
I
happy with a
think
number of others.
the light maybe shone brightly on Julia in this event for some reason, but we'll see. So should I do my Iron Woman?
Yes.
My Iron Woman is Julia. So I think she goes to the end in terms of number 30, and then gets thrown out in the chaos that is the sort of last 8 or 9 girls in the ring, but gets the Iron Man spot.
Yeah, nice. Should be a good one too. I think it'd be so good for her. She's again, she's got this US championship. I'm starting to connect with Julia a little bit more. I think we're starting to see a bit more personality out of her. I love what's happening with Kiana James. I don't think that Julia needs to go solo just yet. Solo, no pun intended.
And I had a special mention for Chelsea Green. I could certainly see her coming in at number 3 or number 4, and maybe being thrown out of the ring and doing the Santino spot where she's under the ring for the rest of the match.
Yeah.
So there's also the potential that Chelsea, but those I think Julia's going to Iron Woman.
Yeah. All right. For Iron Woman, I've got Io Sky. I can see her having a pretty considerable run in this championship match. I did put in my notes here as an outside chance, Julia. So again, I wouldn't be surprised if it's either of those. I certainly wouldn't be surprised if it's a number of other women as well. That's the beauty of the Royal Rumble. There are so many potential variations on how this match looks. Let's go with the Diesel spot.
Rhea Ripley.
Mm.
But I don't think it's going to be the Diesel spot of throwing them out as they come in. I just think she's going to get the most eliminations.
Okay.
And she's going to be in the ring for a long time.
Yeah. All right. I've got Raquel Rodriguez. Assuming that she's not going to be in a women's championship match again as we record this, she isn't. So
She
I
is
think
big sexy.
I think Raquel Rodriguez for the Diesel spot, and that would be ironic, wouldn't it?
Yes.
Given what Kevin Nash thinks of the lovely Raquel Rodriguez. Charlotte Flair has done it twice.
Okay for Raquel too, I think. Just what she's done with her career in the last 6 months. She gets a pop now. I think the crowd believes in her. I think she's really, and credit to creative too, but she's done a great job in establishing herself as a legitimate threat to Stephanie Vaqueur's title. And mate, I could see her carrying that belt into Mania if you want to go Raquel versus Liv in the main event. So
yeah, couldn't agree more. I couldn't agree more. And yeah, she absolutely deserves her spot. I'm very happy for her. Charlotte Flair, Rhea Ripley, Nia Jax have all had the Diesel spot twice. And they, as far as we're aware, are all in this Royal Rumble matchup. That takes us to the final 4. Who you got?
Bianca Belair, Liv Morgan, Rhea Ripley, and Bailey. I've got Charlotte and Alexa eliminating each other at 5 and 6. So as we get to the final 6.
Right. So how does that final 4 play out for you?
I think I think my final 3 is Bianca, Rhea, and Liv. And I think they go a fairly long time with those 3 with plenty of teasers. And I think that Bianca eliminates Rhea. Rhea then eliminates Bianca, and Liv wins.
Hang on. Bianca eliminates Rhea.
Rhea gets pissed, comes back into the ring.
Gotcha.
And throws Bianca out. And then Rhea is your winner. Then Liv is your winner, and she will challenge either Stephanie Vaquer or Raquel Rodriguez at the Royal Rumble. At WrestleMania.
Yeah, gotcha. Interesting.
Liv's been the bridesmaid twice.
Yeah.
She has been the final person eliminated twice. I think it's her time.
All right, well, my picks for the Women's Royal Rumble 2026, the final 4, Raquel Rodriguez, Roxanne Perez, Liv Morgan, and Rhea Ripley. We are full of Judgment Day in that final four.
That's a great final four.
It's a tough final four because here's what I think is going to happen. Liv eliminates Roxanne, right? Rhea eliminates Liv. Raquel eliminates Rhea. Raquel goes on to challenge for the Women's World Heavyweight Championship at WrestleMania, and Judgment Day implodes, and we'll have Liv and Roxanne Perez. I don't know if that becomes a singles match at WrestleMania or not. Either way, Judgment Day, they're due. They're due.
And as for surprises, I think we get Eve Torres. She hasn't done a Rumble surprise. She's one that I was thinking that we haven't seen yet. So I'm hoping that. Stacey Kleber will be great too, but can't see her going to Saudi Arabia. So that, and also Kendall Gray, who has been lighting up NXT. She is Kurt Angle reincarnated. Not that Kurt Angle has passed away, of course, but she is a future superstar of women's wrestling. And I think we also see the JC Jane as well, and there'll be some sort of spot between those two.
Yeah, good shout then. And you mentioned AJ Lee too. That's essentially a surprise as well, right? Not yet announced. Yeah.
And Bianca, I guess, will be a surprise too. And we haven't seen Tiffany Stratton either for a long time. So they're not really surprises, but they're main roster stars coming back.
Yeah. Yeah. I see AJ Lee. I think there's a possibility that we're going to see Saraya, a.k.a. Paige, show up at the Royal Rumble. There's been a little bit of content online.
There has been a little bit of
shaking
content
off the ring rust. That would not surprise me at all. There was another that was in my head, but it's gone. I'm sure it will come to me sometime in the next 24 hours. But that's the great thing about the Royal Rumble, and one of the most exciting parts of it. Who shows up that we don't expect? Royal Rumble 2002, by the way, Mr. Perfect showing up as a surprise entrant. Amazing.
Yeah. And he did great. He was in the final four.
Yeah. So many good moments. All right, let's head on to the men's Royal Rumble match. Sorry, let's backtrack. So you've got Bianca winning?
I've got Liv winning.
Excuse me, Liv winning.
And Liv almost winning by default, which is so Liv Morgan, because I've got Rhea hinting towards a heel turn in 2026. I think that the time has come for her to go back to that heel persona. So I've got her being angry and pissed that she's lost her moment to WrestleMania. We know there's friction between her and Bianca. Bianca throws her out. She comes back in and throws Bianca out. And Liv wins almost by default.
Cool. I've got Judgment Day imploding, Raquel to take it. You've got Liv, I've got Raquel. Let's see what happens next week. All right, we move on to the men's Royal Rumble match. Who have you got starting?
Had a long think about this. So I've got Finn Balor at number 1 and Dominic Mysterio at number 2.
Oh, love it. We've got it in for the Judgment Day, don't we? We really do.
We do, but I think that is something you can just sort of, and I've got a lot of luchary stuff happening in the sort of first 8 or 9 numbers with Penta and Rey Fenix and Rey Mysterio and all those people, and maybe El Grande Americano and Chad Gable. So there'll be a lot of, and Mr. Iguana potentially. So I've got a big sort of lucha AAA theme going on in my first sort of 10, 11 entrants. So,
yeah, nice.
But Finn and Dominic is a story you can tell throughout the first sort of half an hour of the Rumble.
Yeah, Finn was great at Raw in Belfast, coming into the ring with his original theme with his NXT theme, I guess it was. You could refer to it as. Hey, and he was there by himself, and he was fantastic. He looked as tremendous as he always does. I'm hoping we see him move towards a singles run. I don't know if I'd want to see him face or heel. Probably heel. I think he's a more natural heel. Yeah, either way, it was great to see him there by himself. All right, I too have a lucha-ish start to the Royal Rumble. El Grande Americano is number 1, and number 2, El Grande Americano, or Chad Gable.
Yeah,
I don't think I'd be disappointed seeing Chad come back as Chad. I certainly wouldn't be disappointed seeing Chad Gable in the Rumble. But whether we see the face off of the 2 El Grandes or Chad Gable, I think it could be actually pretty hilarious seeing
El Jacked Americano maybe
he is,
come back
he?
as.
Yeah, he is. Yeah. So he is, I believe, he is due to come back from injury. We'll see.
Yeah.
All right, who you got for the Iron Man?
Penta for the second year in a row. So I've got him coming in at number 3 or number 4 and lasting potentially to even the final 4. But as I'm sitting here contemplating that, I'll let you know in about 2 minutes if he makes my final 4 or not.
Right here. Well, you've got a week to make your mind up. So.
I've got Penta being the Iron Man.
Okay. I've got Finn. Finn being the Iron Man, coming in at 3 or 4 and probably lasting till 26, 27 or so. I think he'd be a tremendous Ironman. I don't think he's been the Ironman before from memory.
Finn came in at number 2 the year Shinsuke won and was in the final 4. So I think he did pretty
There
decent
we
that
go.
year. But
Yeah.
yeah.
If any man
Yeah.
could do it.
I'm a Royal Rumble nerd, Dion. I watch Rumbles at least once a month. I'll watch a Royal Rumble. So
There are worse vices. There are worse vices.
mate, it is a tremendous vice to have. I love the Royal Rumble.
That takes us to the diesel spot.
Got Brock Lesnar.
Which he's done before once or twice, hasn't he? Of course, because he's Brock Lesnar.
And then I've got Brock Lesnar sort of throwing out all the luchadors that start out, aside from Penta, who's going to get thrown for a table. And then I've got Gunther coming in and throwing Brock Lesnar out. So Brock's going to eliminate 8-9 dudes. He's going to look unbeatable. And then Gunther's going to come out and throw Mr. Lesnar over the top rope to set up a match at WrestleMania.
One thing is for sure, the live audience in Saudi Arabia will love Brock Lesnar going to town. The internet wrestling community will not whatsoever, which is fine. I've got for the diesel spot Bron Breakker. The Vision obviously will play some big role in this. I don't feature them in my final 4 whatsoever, so I think they'll dominate the middle part of the Rumble. I'm not too sure how they're going to be eliminated. However they are is going to tell a story about what's coming next in WrestleMania. You'd think it'd be far too early for Seth Rollins to come in, even if he's not ready to compete, which he won't be. Too early for him to come in and screw them over, but stranger things have happened. I'm not sure if they'll fly him to Saudi Arabia for a spot like that, or you keep him off TV, which is probably the smarter thing. Either way, I've got Bron Breakker really settling in as the alpha male of Raw and kicking people out left, right, and center. That takes us to the final 4. Who you got?
So you mentioned you don't know how Bron's going to get eliminated. He'll get eliminated by the number 29 entrant, which will be Roman Reigns. So Roman will come in and along with potentially a Jacob Fatu will be throwing out the Vision. So my final 4 is Cody Rhodes, Gunther, Roman Reigns, and Jacob Fatu.
Nice. Yep. Very good. And how does that all play out?
Yeah, so this is the interesting part. So I've got Cody and Jacob eliminating each other.
Standard.
Just through the, like the pure hatred.
It happens when you're that angry. It happens.
And then I've got very similar to the Shawn Michaels 95 spot where the Bulldog closed up. I've got Roman doing some sort of miraculous sort of save. Gunther thinks he's won the match. Roman comes back in and throws his big Austrian ass over the top rope. And Roman Reigns is your 2026 Royal Rumble winner and will challenge CM Punk for the championship at WrestleMania.
Very good. Very good. My final 4, I too have Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes. I do have a returning Sami Zayn that he will enter the Royal Rumble and Jacob Fatu. So Roman Reigns, Cody Rhodes, Sami Zayn, Jacob Fatu. I've got Cody and Jacob being eliminated by Drew McIntyre somehow. Some interaction between the 3 of them, which would leave just Roman and Sami in the ring, which would be a great callback to the days of old. But Roman to eliminate Sami and to go on and challenge CM Punk for the World Heavyweight Championship at WrestleMania. Now, there have been times where we've thought LA Knight could be the guy. LA Knight has not had a televised match since December the 5th, if my maths is correct. So he's not going in with any sort of huge momentum or any kind of push behind him. Neither is Roman Reigns, but he is the tribal chief.
He's Roman Reigns.
He doesn't need to, right?
I've thought about that, and I had LA Knight winning the Rumble a week ago, but now I've got LA Knight and Chris Jericho at WrestleMania, which I think I had in our predictions, and I think there'll be some sort of the other way they could go is LA Knight involved in something with the Vision at WrestleMania, given their history. But I think Jey Uso is another person I've been throwing up in the air around an LA Knight match. But yeah, because we have to think about Mania when we think about how the Rumble plays out, right? So yeah, I've and you talk about surprises. So I think LA Knight will be a surprise, and he'll eliminate Bronson Reed and Logan Paul and potentially Austin Theory, and could set up something with them. And I've got Chris Jericho as my number 30 entrant. And it just occurred to me as I was talking about this, and I said, I've got Brock Lesnar in my spot as Diesel. I've also got Obafemi in the Rumble, and I don't know how, but maybe there'll be 2 Diesel spots. I've got Obafemi, but I think Obafemi's impact, Dion, will be short. So I think it could be like
impactful.
1 or 2 entrants. He comes in the middle of the Rumble around 18 or 19, throws out some big names, maybe throws out an Omos or something like that, and a couple of other big dudes, and then gets like sneakily eliminated but he'll get eliminated by a big name like a Cody Rhodes, because they do have that history from Saturday Night's Main Event. So he'll get thrown out by a big name because that continues to elevate him. You're not going to see the Miz like eliminate Obafemi. It's going to be a Roman Reigns or a Cody Rhodes that eliminates Obafemi.
Yeah. Which allows Obafemi to keep some street cred, right? Well, I think both of us have thought that Roman Reigns could have been the guy. It's going to be interesting to see how that is perceived back in the States. Obviously, the immediate feedback on a Royal Rumble winner is in the arena. And we've seen some real shockers in the past in terms of the way that live audience has reacted. Again, certainly around that Daniel Bryan era. I think this time around, Roman Reigns will be a popular Royal Rumble winner, except for those that want to see the 20-somethings getting pushed. But
can I pose you a question?
You may.
So outside of Roman Reigns, and you talk about the surprise winners like Shinsuke Nakamura and Asuka, I think were both surprise winners. The one Jey Uso was a surprise winner last year. Yeah. If you were to look at the roster on both sides now, and you could chuck out a surprise name, I don't know that I'm talking to you about this with no prep. Is there names that pop into your head? Because for me, I think they could do something incredible and have Obafemi win the Rumble and challenge Drew at WrestleMania.
Yeah, and you've been big on that for the last few weeks. I think it'll probably be Bron Breakker. I can't think of who else. No one's really popping into my head as a likely winner. Again, LA Knight maybe. I just kind of feel like we've missed the boat with the LA Knight push. Bron Breakker would make a bit of sense if they're really trying to build up the vision. Who to me feel like they're kind of lagging a little bit in the last couple of weeks. They really need something big, and that could be it. Who he'd go on to challenge? I mean, you'd think it would be CM Punk, right? Bron Breakker, CM Punk at WrestleMania. Yeah, so maybe an Obafemi, maybe a Bron Breakker, but we've got a week to see. And from there, we will be on the road to WrestleMania. It'll be much more clear. And man, this is an exciting time of the year, isn't it?
Love it. 8 o'clock in the morning on Saturday, I believe. We need to be getting up to watch the Rumble, ladies and gentlemen.
Saturday, New Zealand time?
Sunday, 8 a.m. Sunday morning.
Nice.
Feb 1. So
Brilliant.
That'll be early doors for us wrestling fans.
Yeah, still plenty of the day left. You can go and mow the lawns. You can go to so much.
You can watch the UFC. Yeah.
All right, folks. Well, we're looking forward to the Royal Rumble. Throw your predictions our way as well. After the break, we've got part 2 of our interview with James Shaw. Let's have a listen to see what he's got to say.
Hey everyone, it's the big man Jamie Ese, and you are listening to That Sweet Pop.
It's interesting you talk about that because your program with Jay Rilla that sort of concluded last time out, you actually made it pretty believable that you could beat him. And when you look at a guy like Jay Rilla, no offense, but like, no guy your size should be able to beat a guy like that. But there were times in that match where I turned to my son, I'm like, James is winning the title here.
Yeah.
And like, so is that something that subconsciously you're thinking about, is that you need to make the audience believe that this night is the night that Jay Rilla gets beat?
Yeah. I mean, you do that with every match, right? Like, for me, storytelling is such a huge, storytelling is so important in wrestling. And a guy that taught me that was Hinare. Hinare really taught me that it's all storytelling and stuff. And funny enough, he started drilling this me about 2 years ago, and that's when I started becoming quite a good wrestler, when he started giving me advice. Go figures, a really successful wrestler giving advice, and if you follow it, you become good yourself. So I give all the credit to Hinare there, who's helped us immensely in New Zealand wrestling. But I think going into that match, that was the story, right? Like my character all year had been trying to lift Jay Rilla. And I remember every time I did it, everyone in the audience would laugh. They'd laugh, you're not going to get it, you're not going to get it. And we would smirk because I was like, they don't know where the story's going to go.
Yeah.
Because we had nailed it in training. I'd done it numerous times with Jay Rilla in training. And I was like, it was pretty easy. I was like, we've got this. Like, we can do this. So then it's just like a younger me would have just done that pretty early. Like, you know, I would have done that first opportunity. I'd probably got when I wrestled Jay.
It was the
The
payoff.
wiser me is like, hey, let's really milk this out. Let's make this the whole story of the year. And then when I do it and like Jay really kicks out, we're all gonna look amazing out of that. Because I think we both came out really good in that match. Like I'd lifted
absolutely.
a giant, he had beaten me. So we all no one really came out like as a lesser person in that match.
And you made my 11-year-old boy say, "Holy shit, Dad! He got him up." I'm like, "Yeah,
yeah." Twice, I think. I did the scoop slam. Yeah, the scoop slam was the impressive one because that's from the ground to the. Yeah, but it just goes back to storytelling. Like that was the story we were telling. Like, and like my character, I believed my character was like that driven and stuff, and we know we could do it in real life. So it was just a matter of finding the correct time, and of course, like. We were lucky. We had a year's build up where we really milked that storyline with Jay and I. You know.
Hey, talk to us about the Divine Light. This is such a unique character, and for those people that haven't had the pleasure of seeing it, and the way it morphed into church and state. How did you come up with the idea, and why did you think it would work?
So, I recall. It's funny. I recall being at a party with Caleb, 2018. I think you've been to a couple of those. We were just chilling, we're drinking, we're vibing.
I have.
It's very nice. I recall telling him, this was right when I was doing the Daddy's Boy.
And you're talking about the former Kingy, for those people that
former
know.
Kingy, right? Sorry. Yeah, former Kingy. So we were talking about gimmicks, and I recall at this point, I was kind of getting a bit burnt out with wrestling. I wasn't really like, it wasn't doing the spark for me. Like the last couple of months I've been doing it, it was something was just wrong. It was off. I wasn't enjoying it. And I told Kingy at the thing, who was running the company at the time, and I said to him at the party, I said, it's time. I think it's time for a change, like something different. And in my mind, I'd kind of come up with this character a while ago. It was actually based off a video game I played called Dark Souls. I don't know if anyone's familiar with that.
Right.
But there's a character in that game called Sol Sahir who worships the sun. And every time you meet him, he just goes on about the sun and how the sun's guiding him and stuff. And I used to always thought, I was like, man, and that character is very well known in like video game, like everyone always, like it's a big meme and stuff, that character. And he does this pose, like worshiping the sun and stuff. So I just took elements of that and I was like, this would make a good character. So I remember telling Kingy it was time for a change. We locked it in and I just pitched this thing. I was like, I'm just going to become the divine savior. And I'm going to worship the divine light. And this light's going to be my God. And I'm just going to it's going to be based off Western religion. And we'll go from there. And it was actually Kingy who told me about church and state. Because at the time, Burns was doing the politician gimmick. And it was really good. And at that party, he said, you should tag with Burns and form church and state.
That's so
good. And I'd never heard that term before, church and state, which is quite ironic because like now we've been going for 6 years, but I'd never heard that term before.
Can I say the addition of the gold face mask makes you like 30% more badass? Yeah. Like, dude, like, and the robe that you've pulled out this last 12 months.
So, it's funny you say that because, like, I was very comedic when I first started. I was very comedy based, very silly. And I liked doing that because it was very fun for me, very comedy based. And then I remember at one point I started putting on size. And that's when Hanade told me, he goes, you should really start cutting the comedy and start becoming quite a serious wrestler. You can still be funny at times, but you're becoming one of the top guys in New Zealand now, and you really need to be like a threat and stuff like that. So then that's when I started taking his advice. So then that's when at the time I was very just in the robe, the very comedic divine savior gimmick. And when he spoke to me like that, I was like, it's time for a second shift, almost like I had at that party. It's time for another evolution of the character. And at the time, I don't know if you've seen the movie Kingdom of Heaven with Orlando Bloom and brilliant movie. The main king in that has that mask, and he wears it because he's a leper, and he obviously doesn't want to see. He doesn't want people to see how destroyed and damaged he is. So I looked online. I found the mask. My girlfriend, who's amazing at costumes, made me the robe, made me the mask, and that was like at that point when I switched to that was the gear switch. So I completely switched characters, became quite a serious character from there, and that's been going for about a year and a half now.
Yeah, and incredibly popular with fans. Again, you've got the ability to play the serious guy, to be comedic, everything in between. But what about the structure of a match or a program or a show? What's your philosophy on that? What makes a good wrestling match? What makes a good show, a good story arc, or how they intertwine with each other? Or feel free to pick one of those things.
Yeah, that's a great question. To me, I think the most important aspect to like an overall show, an overall match, like an overall vibe of like everything, it's storytelling. 100%. Storytelling's the one aspect that like you should be going into a match going, what's our story?
Mm,
Because if you and I, say you and I, the three of us were to make a movie, that would be the first question we would ask. What's the movie about? What's the story of the movie? We wouldn't go, let's make a movie. Oh, we'll have a scene with an exploding building. We'll have a scene with a plane crashing into like the bad guy in the field.
mm,
It's like, yeah, that's great, but what's the context of that? And
mm.
I think that's what the problem is with wrestling at the moment.
You're
A lot of
talking
people
about a
come in.
suicide dive before a lockup.
Exactly. So people will go into a match going, hey, I want to do this move. And I've had that 9 out of 10. I come up to we talk to my opponent and he'll go, hey, I saw this move I want to do. And I just go, stop. What's the context of that move? Does that move help our story? Or are you just doing this move because you saw that move and you want it to look cool? So I would say storytelling 100% is your like utmost first thing you should be knowing what you're doing with any match, any show. And it lacks a lot sometimes. You see it a lot in New Zealand wrestling.
Yeah. Speaking of New Zealand wrestling, I mean, I and you have seen dozens of promoters or wannabe promoters coming into the New Zealand scene, all believing they can elevate wrestling to the mainstream, and everyone wants to do that. Everyone believes that they've got the ability and the drive to do that. But around the world, everyone's trying to do the same and struggling with it, right? Is it possible for the New Zealand wrestling scene to become a little bit more mainstream, or do you think wrestling is just always going to be a bit of an underground form of entertainment?
I 100% believe wrestling can be a mainstream thing here. I really like how you frame that. How a lot of promotions or a lot of wannabe promoters they come in with the right intention, and I do believe I would say 10 out of 10. Every promoter has that intention, good intention. Come in, I'm going to help elevate the scene. I'm going to make this great. I'm going to make this territory great. The problem is with a lot of new promoters or like just certain promoters in general, they're very just like, I want to do it this way and I'm not going to listen to how it's done. Or I'm going to push guys that don't normally get pushed. Now, to me, that's your biggest mistake you can do. I'm like, just hear that phrase. Like, I've heard that phrase so many times from promoters. We like to push guys that don't normally get pushed in other promotions. And the first thing I ask that is, why are they not getting pushed? It's because they don't look like pro wrestlers. They don't wrestle like pro wrestlers. They don't tell a story in that ring. So there's a reason they're not getting pushed. So then if you're taking that group of guys, and there's nothing wrong with them, they're all still learning and stuff. If you take that group of guys and then you pitch them as, hey, these are our main guys. These are our main characters of the show. And they don't really know what they're doing and they're kind of guessworking and stuff, then overall your show is going to not do great because you're already limiting yourself with like an invisible ceiling there. So I think that's a big issue. And then a big thing I learned is you just have to put your ego aside and ask those who have been successful. When Hanare first came to me and told me I was doing it all wrong, the first thing in my mind is like, but I've been doing this for 16 years at that point, and it's such a blow to your ego to be like, I've been doing this for so long, I've been working so hard, to be told that I'm doing it like almost all wrong. It's such a blow, but if you learn to just be like, hey, Hanade's not coming in here with like ill intent. He's just trying to elevate everyone. And if you listen to that advice, 100% you're just going to get better. And that's what I did. I felt like I listened to Hanade's advice when he said, you're doing this wrong, you need to do it this way. And I just gave him full control. Man, I felt like just me as a wrestler, I've gotten better. Promotions that have listened to him have gotten better, Like a big thing he told us when we book shows, we used to just do title matches every show. Title match here, title match here. One of his big things he told us is that people need to earn those shots, and that those shots should be like big draw factors. You know, it's okay for the champ to be in a non-title match.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
completely fine. You know, at most, maybe 3 title defenses, 4 title defenses a year. Make those 4 title defenses mean so much more than say, here's a title match, here's a title match, here's a title match, here's a title match. You know, I've been champ where I've defended it 20 times, and it's like, you know, I could have defended this 3 times and had those 3 times mean 1,000 more times than those 20 times. That's a bit of confusing math for you.
Some Steiner math.
Some Steiner math, yeah, exactly.
So 40 championships, 4-0, coming up close to 2 decades in the business, if my Steiner math is correct. Recently ranked in the PWI 500, without a doubt, the hardest working wrestler in the New Zealand scene in this era of it. I'm talking the last 20 years. No one has worked more than you locally. You talked about your passion waning in the past. Is the passion for performing still there?
Oh, 100%. It's probably the strongest I've ever had at this point.
Why is that?
I don't know. I think I would say, and it goes back to Hanato helping me, I think I'm doing it more correctly than I was before. And you can see it, like doing it correctly and seeing the effects of it, like working and stuff. Like, I'll be honest. I know when I'm on cards, I know I'm like most of the time I'm the best thing on that card. But I try not to let it get to my head and stuff and try and be humble. And the most important thing I tell myself is like, hey, I might be the best thing on this card, but there's still room for me to get better. So I should be aiming to get better. Even if I'm at the top, there's still room for me to get better. So I always try and make a point of that. So I think for me, the passion's still there. Knowing that, like, it's funny. It's knowing that, like, I can be 1,000 times better than what I am now and still not even be, like, WWE level. For some people, that would be quite defeating. But for me, that's quite like, man, that's cool. That means there's just more for me to learn in this life. And I'm a firm believer you never stop learning. As long as you put your ego aside and be like, hey, tell me what you think of this. Tell me what you think of that. And you take that criticism, like, on board correctly, you'll never stop learning. You'll just get better and better and better at it.
So then finally, are there any other accomplishments that you're wanting to tick off? Is it titles? Is it getting New Zealand wrestling to the mainstream? Is it helping to elevate existing promotions? What do you have a list like that, or are you just having fun at this stage?
I do have a list. I think, like you said, my main thing would be elevating New Zealand wrestling. I'll be honest though, unfortunately, I don't have a brain for promotion. Like, I'm not a business guy. I'm just really good at the performing side. So when it comes to that stuff, I have to leave it to the experts like Jake Sheehan and like Hanare and stuff. I have to really, and like the SPW crew. Those are the guys that'll lead the charge in that. Whereas I'm just happy kind of being a general, like a guy that can help with, like, help elevating the scene. Like, a lot of the times Hanade's done those big shows, we get huge numbers and stuff, and I've been in the main event. But logistically, if he asked me to help, I would be like, oh, I wouldn't have a clue where to start, man. Like, my hat goes off to people that promote shows. Like, I really don't know how to do it. But put me in the main event and be like, hey, can you tell a story for the night and really get them to hate you and really get them to like this guy? I was like, cool, I'm in my element here. I can do that. And that's how I feel I'll help. I can help with the in-ring stuff. But I would love for that to just keep getting better and better and better. So I think guys like Jake Sheehan, like I said, and Hanade and the SPW, they're the ones that'll lead the charge in that. I would love to get the SPW Heavyweight Championship and make that at 8 New Zealand titles. That's the only championship, I think, of significance that I haven't held, which I would really love to hold, because I've held everything else down there. So getting that would make me kind of grand slam. So I would say title-wise, that's a goal. And then elevating the scenes like a overall goal.
Well, best of luck with that 8th championship. Hey, but before we let you go, we're asking wrestlers from around the world 3 bits of information just to get to know them a little bit better. Question number 1, what TV series are you currently watching?
What TV show? I was watching One Piece. I'm a big One Piece guy. It's got 1,150 episodes and it keeps going.
Wow.
But they've just gone on hiatus for 3 months now, so I have to kind of wait for that. So One Piece was my big, like, I caught up. I watched all 1,100, and from start to finish, it was so amazing. It's one of the best storytelling TV shows you'll ever watch.
I'll have to look that one up. Hey, describe the perfect day.
Describe the perfect day. Okay, for me, because I work nights, I wake up at 2 and I get my ass out of the bed ASAP, which is really hard because I normally jump on the phone first thing. Gym straight away, and I work out with one of my friends, Nico, Keanu, Jake, Will, Stone. We have a mean workout, Hinare. That doesn't go too long. Maybe we get some food after that. I feel nice and satisfied. I come home, spend a bit of quality time with my girlfriend, and then I have a good 8-hour day of just RuneScape, baby. Just stream it, maybe. Just do a bit of streaming.
Yeah.
Play a bit. I've been getting into streaming lately, so
I meant to get into your streaming. Tell us a quick bit about it.
I've always known I should be streaming games because I'm a big, huge video game nerd. And I got that final push from someone. They were like, just get a camera, get a mic, and which I'm using right now. And I jumped it. I made the accounts. I started streaming, and like on TikTok, I've been really focusing on TikTok. I've been getting quite a lot of followers, which is like good for old school RuneScape numbers. Like that's the game I stream at the moment. Massive online game. It's been around for 25 years. I just love it. But yeah, it's so fun. I could play this game for hours. In fact, I'll keep you in a secret. It's been going on in the background this whole interview.
How can people find you?
So I'm on Instagram at Divine Light Shaw for wrestling. I'm on Twitch and TikTok for the Divine Light Gaming if you ever want to watch the gaming.
Nice.
And then on Facebook, just the Divine Savior James Shaw.
Nice one.
And all YouTube as well for both.
Beautiful. Last question before we let you go. When your career is over, how will you measure its success?
I think just with my peers, someone that just, I think if my peers said that he was a really good guy to be around and like really enjoyed being around, I'd be completely happy. You know, I wouldn't be too fussed about the wrestling. Like I'm happy with where the wrestling is now, 100%. But I think if my peers and everyone I met, just like he was a nice guy, he was a good guy, I'd be really happy with that. That would be what I want my legacy to be. Just a nice guy to be around.
Well, this has been a fantastic chat. We spent a lot of time together, you and I, and we shoot the proverbial, but it's been good to get inside your head a little bit deeply with some of these topics. So just again, before I let you go, man, I really respect what you've done in the New Zealand scene and how you've continued to elevate your game and elevate the scene itself as well. And yeah, man, I appreciate our friendship, and thank you for taking the time to talk to us today.
Thank you, man. Kind words come from you, man, because I remember sitting in that audience and
with a sock
across the socks in my mouth, looking at commentary table, and it's funny because I was a young 16-year-old, you know, and I think how old would have you been back then? 50?
I would. Yeah, I probably was about 30. Yeah.
Yeah, like it's such a weird wrestling's such a weird thing where people of like different age ranges can kind of become friends, and it's like, and it's accepted, like it's fine. Like, you know, we had that common interest of wrestling and stuff like that. And you know, it's funny, I've kind of grown up with you a bit, and you've grown up with me. You've obviously done really well in life, but yeah. So yeah, it's been great.
Wrestling's a community, man. It's a community. Yeah. All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, there he is. Check him out. He's going to be wrestling all over the country in 2026. He is James Shaw.
Thank you, guys. Thank you so much.
This is the hooligan Marcus Cole, and you are listening to That Sweet Pop. Let's have it!
Well, that's the end of part 2 of our interview with James Shaw. Folks, there's a lot of New Zealand wrestling happening around the country in 2026. We'll try and get as many previews out to you as we can, but keep an eye out on Facebook, Instagram, on these local promotions pages, and get along to some Kiwi wrestling. Brad, we talked about the Royal Rumble earlier in the show. What's coming up? It's got to be a Royal Rumble, yeah?
It's all about the Rumble. It's all about the Royal Rumble. Look, this is my second Christmas. So yeah, cannot wait to get up on early doors on Sunday morning. And you know, I think we'll start off with the Women's Rumble, and I think we'll get the championship match. Then we'll get Gunther and AJ, and then we'll finish with the Men's Rumble. And I think it'll be a hell of a card. Can't wait.
Yeah, nice one. So that is 8 a.m. Sunday, New Zealand time, yeah?
Correct. Yes.
Man, can't wait.
Yeah. So a nice early start for you ladies and gentlemen, Royal Rumble fans out there.
Yeah, nice one. All right, folks. Thank you so much for sticking with us. Again, our episodes drop at 8 p.m. Mondays right here on YouTube. Please like and subscribe, or you can listen on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or YouTube Music, or follow us on socials on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. All right, Brad. Well, I guess I'll see you next week, and we'll see how we got on with these predictions.
From the boiler room here at Entain, all I can say is have a nice day.
Very good. All right, folks. Enjoy the Royal Rumble. We are on the road to WrestleMania. We'll see you next week, and until then, have a good one.